because what you, the unsung heroes in the wastewater industry, do matters. Every Wednesday, join me, Suzanne Chin Taylor, the DooDoo Diva, a longtime veteran of the wastewater, trenchless, and civil infrastructure industry, as I interview guests who are making an impact on how we manage and operate systems for conveying and treating wastewater. I'll also be speaking with representatives of organizations that are utilizing disruptive or new technologies, and executives who are going to share how to be successful and sustainable in our vital industry. So whether you want to learn about the latest trends in technology in treatment or trenchless, gain tips on training and retaining great talent, or simply how to be more efficient, productive, or profitable, this podcast is for you. Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the DooDoo Divas Smells Like Money podcast. I have the great pleasure of bringing you a visitation from Kerry Siggins, the CEO of Stone Age Tools, who are known for high pressure water blasting and the Warthog sewer cleaning nozzles. And Kerry is a powerhouse of energy and everything to do with pipe cleaning and blasting. And I'm just so honored that she agreed to come and spend some time with us and share some of her knowledge. We're going to cover a lot of ground today. We are actually going to have a series of episodes with Kerry. And so our first one that we're going to concentrate on today is what's happening in the world of sewer cleaning tools, water blasting tools. And Kerry, thank you again. And so one of the things that I wanted you to talk about is that misconception of the magic or the power of cleaning is really not coming from the tool, but it's coming from the jet itself. And so explain to me, I always thought it was the other way around. So explain to me what you mean by that.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here. I appreciate that lovely introduction. And yes, I think that, every component of the overall system matters, right? It all has to work together, but it's not the high pressure pump or the sewer cleaning pump, the tool, the hose. It's really about the quality of the jet that comes out of that nozzle. That's where all the magic happens. So there's a lot of science that goes into developing water blasting or sewer cleaning nozzles. And really the key is you need to have as little turbulence in the water. So there's all different kinds of things that can cause turbulence. Friction as the water is moving down the hose can certainly cause pressure loss and friction. And then as the water goes into the tool, if there's any bends or deviations that the water has to take, that causes turbulence. Turbulence is, of course, how the water starts to flow. And then when it gets to the nozzles, if the water is turbulent coming out of it, it breaks down the jet. So the real magic behind an effective water jetting system is around, am I doing everything I possibly can to make sure as much pressure gets to that nozzle? So hose length and the type of tool, and is that jet quality good? And that's why I need a great tool that has a straight of a flow path through it so that I don't get that turbulence. Because if your jet is already breaking down before it even leaves the nozzle, then you're not going to get as powerful of cleaning results. So that's where the magic is. It's really all about that little jet and what goes into making a high quality jet.
Okay. All right. So is one material better than another when it comes to what the actual nozzle is made of for that pressure to control that jet?
Yeah, yes, because it's all about how long that nozzle is holding up. And so the material does matter. As soon as it starts to wear, then the jet will start to spray out basically. So there's lots of science that goes into, the type of material that you use in making those nozzles so that it can create as powerful as a jet for as long as possible. And of course, it also depends on what's in the water, right? If you have any kind
Right.
of abrasives in the water, a little bit of sand or various particles, that can also cause that nozzle to wear. And so material matters from that perspective as well. But yes, at Stone Age, we go through extensive testing, materials testing, and considering our flow path. What happens when you put flow straighteners in? Does that help improve the nozzle quality? There's so much that goes into just that little tiny jet that's coming out of the end of the tool.
So, Kerry, what are some tips that you could share with operators on selecting the right nozzle for the job? What, I guess, characteristics do you want in a nozzle for, and maybe do a couple things, a very sandy laden pipe versus when you're attacking a fatberg? Obviously, you might want two different types of nozzles. Diameter, of course, is going to, diameter of the pipe is going to matter. Can you shed, some tips and tricks on, you've got an arsenal, maybe you have 5 or 6 nozzles. Okay. A, B, or C, door like Monty Hall, door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. How do you figure out what to do?
So Stone Age specializes in controlled rotation. So we don't do static nozzles, fixed nozzles. And that's because we believe the power of rotating water, that there's nothing that beats it. So I would argue that a warthog can clean anything and is probably the most effective way to clean. Now, others would probably argue with me, and that's totally fine, but that's what we specialize in. And so, I think that contractors are making the decision about, how can I use the most cost-effective nozzle to get this done? And a lot of people are scared of the controlled rotation nozzles, right? They're a little bit more complicated. You have to understand the jetting for them a little bit differently, and it's a little scary having water that's coming out and that's rotating in the pipe. So I think there's maybe a little bit of an intimidation factor, but really what you need to consider is, what kind of jet do I need? What kind of pressure and flow do I need to clean this out? So cutting through roots requires a different, a higher quality jet than, say, flushing out a fatberg or get in sand. So, that's where the science behind this really comes into play is, what kind of jet do I need to have to be able to get through this? And then what kind of tool is going to give me this jet? And then you have to think about what your pump is, because you're going to have pressure loss. It's going to come from the pump through the length of the hose as well, and do all those calculations. So, the most important thing that I think that you need to understand is, what is the pressure at the end of at that tool, at the end of the nozzle, that I need to really get through this, and then work your way backwards to say, okay, here's the diameter of the pipe, here's the length of the hose that I'm going to need to be able to, to run down the line to get to that particular blockage, and understand that the pressure at the pump is not going to be what comes out at the end of the nozzle. And do you have enough to get through what you're trying to, to clear? And sometimes it requires more flow and less pressure. And sometimes it requires more pressure and less flow. So it takes that experience and a little bit of experimentation when you're first learning how to do this to get the right nozzle selection. And that's what we specialize in at Stone Age is call us and we will help you. We will be able to work with your dealer and say, yes, this is what you are trying to get through. Here's the right type of nozzle. Here's how it needs to be jetted so that you can really look good in front of your customer, because you can go in there with the right tool to get the job done.
Excellent. So I just want to go back on that a little bit with the, controlled rotation. If someone has always used, what did you call it? Static or fixed nozzle. And now they're thinking about moving into controlled. What considerations are they going to have? Is there anything special they're going to need on their jetter or on their truck? Is it special training? And what should they be prepared for? Because you were saying there's some vast differences and it can be a little bit intimidating. but what are things that they need to be prepared for and expect if they decide, yeah, I'd like to try this and make this shift. This sounds good.
Sure. So there's nothing different from the jetter or the hose.
Okay.
That's all stays the same. It's just understanding how the controlled rotation works. And so I would say that training absolutely, because it's not vastly different, I would say, but it's different enough when you're used to just putting a grenade down the pipe and it has
Right.
fixed jets. It's going through it, just flushing things out. Understanding that rotating water is going to do something that's different, and that's where it does require training. So I would say if you're making the consideration, which I absolutely think you should, because controlled rotation, rotating nozzles, there's just nothing that's going to be more effective at cleaning, especially getting through anything that's tougher to get through, roots or significant blockages. Get with somebody who knows what they're doing, and learn from them, whether it's call Stone Age or whoever you're buying a rotating nozzle from. Work with your dealer to really understand, this is the type of tool that I need to get through this blockage or to clean this particular pipe. And then once you get a little bit of experience with it, then you'll say, okay, now I feel confident. Like I understand, exactly how my nozzle needs to be jetted and how to use this on my particular pump. So that's really the best place to start. I would learn from an expert. You're just going to get through the learning curve so much faster and be less intimidated to use a controlled rotation nozzle if you've never used one before.
Excellent. So when we talk about big advancements, what do you see are some of the biggest things that are coming down the pike for cleaning and water blasting? Manufacturers, they never let the ground grow under their feet. They're always trying to create the, bigger, better, faster, more. What's coming down the pike in the industry that you see? And what are some things that the operators of these tools should be considering as they see these new technologies coming forward?
Yeah, I mean, the name of the game to me is our high efficiency nozzles, right? How do we do this with less water?
Right.
We are in a water crisis in many places in the United States, all over the world, and we're going to have to be thinking about, how we use our water to clean. And so that's one of the things that we're really focusing on is, how do we still get the same efficiency and quality cleaning, but use less water? And it's not an easy problem to solve. But I think in terms of the actual tooling, that's where the next advancements will be. Recently we came out with the switcher nozzle on our Magnum line of tool, which is our highest end tool, and it's you can basically switch it so that pulls when it's going down the pipe, and then which requires more water, then you can turn that off when you're pulling it back, and so it creates a little bit more efficiency. I see us really building on top of that. And then the next major aspect in terms of the actual cleaning side of things are going to be putting data loggers in tools so that you can understand time on tool. You can understand, how you can really start to actually track like how long it took me to clean this blockage. And then as you collect that data, you can add more value to your clients because you can say, hey, I've done this job 8 times now, and here's what I've learned because I have a data logger on my tool and I'm collecting, X, Y, Z type of information. So I see those things are on the actual tooling side. And then of course, there'll be all kinds of advancements in inspection. I think AI will be leading the way in an inspection, improved camera vision technology will obviously help, and more effective ways to repair piping are all down the pipeline. That's not what we specialize in. We're really in the nozzle side of things, but I think there's lots of advancements in the sewer cleaning industry.
Well, I wanted to, man, I may be treading on dangerous ground or making a few enemies. I hope not. Please forgive me because my history is in CCTV. That's how I came into the industry.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of these, jet cams that go on the nozzles for cleaning, and just wanted to get your take on that in their effectiveness. And I could see that, yes, they want to see how effective the nozzle is doing the job of cleaning. But I think maybe there's also a thought of efficiency of, wow, could I really effectively get two jobs done in once of clean and inspect and track? But what's your take on that? Or do you think this is really just to make sure the nozzle's doing its job, but we're not going to be able to get away from still having to do that defect inspection?
Oh, I think technology will advance where you can do both at the same time. It's not there yet. And it's really tough to, you can't, well, the nozzle's running, you can't have cameras tracking and be able to see, if there really truly is a defect. So the efficiency comes in being able to use the same system, without having to retract the hose and put down a camera. But I think with AI, there's definitely an opportunity to use technology to potentially do both at the same time. Absolutely someday, whether that's 5 years from now, 10 years now, or, 50 years from now, I think there'll certainly be the technology out there that you can do it at the same time and simultaneously. And I think that's, those are really tough problems to solve, things that excite me for sure. Right now, I think it's really tough to be running the tool with the camera on and see much of what's really happening. And that's just the nature of using cameras to do this kind of work.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Anything else you'd like to share, your passion, what's next for Stone Age? I mean, just for those of you who are interested in learning more about their tools and what they have to offer, the website is, Kerry?
www.stoneagetools.com or www.sewernozzles.com.
Okay. Wow. You captured that one. Lucky girl. Good.com there. I love it. I love it.
Yes. So, I mean, I think we've got lots of exciting stuff, whether it's new tool development. I can't speak a whole lot about it because we're going to do a big launch later this year and reveal some of the things that we're working on. But absolutely, we're a very innovative company, and we're looking to really be able to help our customers solve their problems by relying on Stone Age. We have what we call deliver on the Stone Age Assurance Promise, which is we do everything in our power to help you get your job done on time, on budget, safely, and as easily as possible. And it's why you can rely on us for getting you exactly what you need. So our whole innovation strategy is really keeping that in mind. Like, how do we help our customers solve really tough problems? Because they use us like as an insurance policy, right? I know that Stone Age has got my back. So new innovation coming down the pipeline. We're going through a big digital transformation, which I think will definitely transform the industry, making it so much easier to be able to have access to products and information and service, training. Lots of great things coming out over the next couple of years. So if you're not following us on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook, do so, because we're constantly sharing customer stories and the ways that we're helping people solve problems, and the cool innovative things that we're doing as a company to solve these challenges.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing with me about the true magic behind the tools and what's coming. And I look forward on having you on the next episode, where, just what you ended with is a great segue into what we're going to be talking about next time, which is the importance of being connected digitally, transforming how you're telling your story digitally. And it's all about content. And so until next time, thank you for joining us. We'll see you around, and keep it flowing. Thanks for joining me, the DooDoo Diva, on this week's episode of Smells Like Money. Be sure to subscribe to the show so you'll never miss an episode. And while you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or simply tell a friend about the show, because that would help us out a lot too. If you're an industry expert and would like to be considered as a guest for the show, email guest@smellslikemoneymedia.com. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the topics you'd like to talk about, and we'll be in touch. For more information about our family of marketing, international business development, and workforce training companies dedicated to the empowerment and education of our industry. Call us at 760-217-8010 or email me at raven@creativeraven.com. Until next week, a big shout out to all my industry friends and those who will be. You're my superheroes.